For years, an elite investigative team tracked the physical footprints of a global syndicate, mapping smuggling routes and intercepting crates of weaponry. They believed they were closing in on the organization's heart. But in an operations room in New Delhi, the data started to reveal a different reality. Director Sen presented a new analysis. By tracking the specific digital signatures and accounting patterns across the Middle East and Southeast Asia, the team found that every transaction shared the same software fingerprint. This chart shows the result. Weapons trafficking only accounted for 5% of their total activity. The vast majority of their capital, this expanding 95%, was flowing into a single category: influence. The realization changed the nature of the hunt. The money wasn't just moving, it was watching. The team discovered that by following these financial trails, they were leaving their own digital signatures for the syndicate to track in return. Traditional investigations rely on seizing assets, but this network operates by manipulating what people believe. The core challenge became clear. How do you dismantle a system that turns the investigator's own search into a tool for surveillance? The team began sifting through thousands of verified corporate records, perfectly legal, audited documents from international firms. On the surface, these companies were unrelated, each with its own tax filings and commercial registrations. Their software identified a pattern hidden in the language. While the letterheads were different, the phrasing was identical. Notice how the phrase "subject to operational contingencies" highlights across all these supposedly independent documents. The same punctuation, the same paragraph structure, and the same specific spelling errors revealed a single editorial hand behind 100 global companies. As they isolated the source of the language, their system was interrupted by an encrypted message. A black screen appeared with a bold digital countdown and a single instruction: "Don't look for people, look for the architect." The team recognized that their progress was being managed. These clues weren't mistakes. They were paths left open to lead the investigation toward a specific, predetermined conclusion. The team identified this strategy as Project Palimpsest. Like an ancient parchment where the original text was scraped away to make room for new writing, the syndicate was continuously overwriting its corporate history. They found administrative templates that had been reused for decades, layered under new company names and fresh digital identities. The next set of messages was more abstract. The team received an audio file of rain and train whistles, paired with a geometric labyrinth. The image seemed solid at first, but high-resolution scans revealed microscopic gaps in the walls. They used network analysis software to map every line. These blue highlights show the microscopic gaps the team discovered. They weren't errors in the drawing, they were intentional breaks in the structure. Watch what happens when the software processes these gaps. The labyrinth collapses into a sprawling, decentralized map. This is the syndicate's operational model. There is no central hub to target. Instead, the gaps represent alternative, fail-safe routes that allow data to flow even if one section of the network is cut off. Arjun realized the labyrinth was a structural blueprint for the syndicate's philosophy. It was a system built to function without a head, making it nearly impossible to disable through traditional means. Following these anonymous messages is a form of psychological conditioning. Imagine navigating with a compass where the needle spins erratically. If you follow a needle the enemy is magnetizing, you aren't investigating, you're being led. Arjun responded by changing the rules of the game. He initiated a 48-hour total blackout, ordering the team to stop responding to the network's messages and ignore every new clue that appeared on their screens. To reclaim the investigation, the team had to stop reacting. To defeat an adversary that controls the narrative, you have to refuse to follow the story they are writing for you. The team ignored the syndicate's puzzles and returned to their own archives. They focused exclusively on verified independent data, public shipping logs, bank registries, and corporate filings they had gathered before the anonymous messages began. They began looking for silent data. Instead of analyzing the information the syndicate provided, they looked for what was consistently missing. They mapped the negative space of the records to find the holes where information should have been. This timeline shows the result. We are looking at dozens of unrelated global companies. Notice this synchronized drop to zero across every entity. During this exact window, they all underwent simultaneous restructurings and digital blackouts. This silent data provided the first verifiable evidence of coordination. These were unmanipulated, real-world events that the syndicate couldn't edit out of the public record. Before acting, the team established a final safeguard. They submitted their findings for independent verification, asking international partners to cross-reference the data against their own local registries without sharing the syndicate's cryptic messages. The response arrived in a heavy manila folder. This report, stamped preliminary findings, contained the independent data the team needed to validate their new model. The report confirmed the pattern. These were repeating, cross-border financial anomalies that matched the timeline of the digital blackouts. For the first time, the team worked with evidence they had earned through their own analysis. You cannot catch a shadow by following the light it casts. You must step out of the room and find the source. By discarding the syndicate's clues and drawing their own map from verifiable data, the team finally gained the upper hand. The hunt was no longer confined to New Delhi. It was ready for the international stage.